That was fucking amazing. What, you thought the Wide Eyes was going to trick you into thinking that this was a bad review? Absolutely not. I have not run into a single bad episode of this anime yet, and this season finale, oh shit, it might be my favorite episode so far, because this episode is awesome. It does everything that you want a season finale to do. To conclude the storyline that was ongoing in the season itself, while also leaving the door open for more seasons and story to follow. And that's what happens here. This episode's amazing, dude. Like, I can't even begin to describe it to you. It is my favorite episode of the show so far, and from what I've heard in Season 2, it's only gonna get better. Fuck yes. What's up? What's happening? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Animation Station, your sister for anything animation. Insert tagline here. I'm your host, Jackson Small. Welcome back to Castlevania-Thon, and yeah, you heard me right. We are already finishing off the first season of the anime, because the first season is only 4 episodes. A little weird, to say the least. So, let's finish it off with a nice big old bang, because this episode sure as hell finished this season off with a big old bang. It may be a short season, it's definitely the shortest season of these 4, as Season 2 has 8, and then Season 3 and 4 both have 10. Whereas this one, it's just 4. It's a short watch, it's a quick watch, but it is a very fucking rewarding one, let me tell you. So let's not waste any time and dive into the synopsis and plot of the final episode of Season 1 of Castlevania. Now, it's not as super long-winded as the last episode, but there's still a lot that happens in it, and it is fucking amazing, so let's talk about it. Here is your synopsis. In the season finale, Belmont strives to save Grisette from certain doom and come face to face with a shocking truth. Now the plot. While the angry mob passes outside Grisette's church, the bishop is alone at the pulpit. He smiles when the doors open, expecting to be told that the speakers have finally been killed. But to his confusion, the doors close again. He orders whoever has come in to leave again and makes sure that the speakers are dead before the sun sets. A huge demon known as Blue Fangs steps into the light, informing him that the sun is already down. Shaken, the bishop claims that the demons cannot enter the house of God, but Blue Fang retorts that God is not here. This is an empty box. The bishop, feeling his certainty slip away, shakily insists that he has devoted his whole life to doing God's work, and God will not abandon him now. But Blue Fangs retorts, "Your life's work makes him puke." And they both know that the demons would never have evaded Wallachia if the bishop had not murdered an innocent woman who he falsely accused of witchcraft. Lisa, all those years ago. Which is why God does not love him and has abandoned him, but the demons on the other side do love him and will never abandon him, as they would not be here on earth if it wasn't for his heinous deeds. And to prove it, Blue Fangs takes the bishop's head in his hands and kisses him dead. This is my one and only problem with the episode. Outside of one blood spill, this death is off-screen. All I wanted was to see this fucker get his comeuppance, but unfortunately, I guess we're playing by Sergeant Burke Aliens rules here, because this guy he gets offed off-screen. Huge shame. It's the one time I think that this show is held back. And it's for the character that you want to see die the most in the first season. I mean, I'm glad he does die, he's a piece of shit, but at the same time, come on, let us see him die. Let us get that satisfaction. But, whatever. It's a minor complaint, and it's only in the first few minutes. Meanwhile, Trevor is still running from the mob through the streets of Grisette, where he is cornered in the town square out of breath. As the mob closes in, a wall of fire erupts over Trevor, keeping them back. He sees Sypha conducting the flame from a rooftop, revealing herself to be a magician. In other words, she's revealing the thing that you would know that she does have if you played Castlevania 3, which is where her character comes from. She's from Castlevania 3. Trevor acknowledges the timeliness of her appearance, but asks why she isn't down the catacombs with the rest of the speakers. Defiantly, she says that she will not suffer Trevor or anyone else to fight for her. when she's perfectly capable of fighting for herself. In other words, she's an independent female character. A little overdone nowadays, but she's a cool character, so I can give it a little bit of leeway. In the crowd, Trevor notices the last of the bishop's men, the priest whose finger Trevor cut off earlier, and challenges him to a fair fight. Sweating, the priest tries to incite the mob to attack, but Sypha's magic and Trevor's soldierly bearing gives them pause. Trevor sneers that the priest was very brave earlier that day, beating up an old man, and just as brave in lying to the people, telling them that the speakers were responsible for Grisette's ills, rather than the bishop's condemnation, hope I'm saying that right, of an innocent woman. If the people had listened to him, they'd have killed the speakers and made murderers out of themselves, without doing a thing to prevent the demons from coming again. Sensing the mood of the crowd has shifted, the priest tries to run, but the furious townspeople turn on him, stabbing him to death with knives and pitchforks. And unlike the bishop in the beginning of the episode, we actually get to see this fucker die on screen. He gets a tons of knives through his back, through his front, and a pitchfork through his fucking face. Good. He deserved it, the piece of shit. As the demons arrive inside the city, Trevor takes command of the defense, telling the people that only he knows how to fight these monsters. He arranges the men with pikes and polearms in front, while ordering a local priest, who's not one of Bishop's thugs, to draw water from the nearest well and sanctify it. In other words, creating the holy water from the games. He also calls for buckets of salt, scooping a handful and wiping his sword blade with it, telling any man with a sword to do the same. When the demons hit the square, Sypha erects walls of ice that force them to attack the pikemen head-on. Seeing their sword blades cut through the demons, the townspeople feel hope, realizing that with Trevor's knowledge, they can finally fight back. They charge forward and cut the rest of the demons down to size, except for Blue Fangs, who leaps over the heads of the pikemen and lunges straight at Trevor, before being trapped by spikes of ice conjured by Sypha. It screeches that there is an army of them invading Grisette from hell, before Trevor's whip bisects its head, causing it to explode. Yeah, that's a cool thing about Trevor's weapon arsenal. He has a sword that is dosed in salt, which will kill anything, and then his whip is so powerful that it'll make demons and monsters explode. Yeah, it's needless to say, it's satisfying and all kinds of awesome. Suddenly, though, the ground gives way from the explosion beneath Trevor and Sypha, dumping them into an even deeper chamber of the catacombs, after they avoid a series of mechanical traps, where we finally get to see Trevor swing across a gap on his whip, just like in Castlevania-4, which, thank you for not just fucking throwing that away. They find a coffin and awaken a vampire with a pressure plate on the floor. The vampire is none other than Alucard. Trevor, being a vampire hunter, mistakes Alucard's intentions and the two of them duel, despite Sypha's warnings, in the best fight of the show so far. Like, seriously, I can't do this fight justice. You need to go see it. The fight's badass. When Trevor thinks he's about to win, Alucard overpowers him, only for Sypha to stop them. Alucard then explains he needed to recover after his fight with his father and has been sleeping under Grisette for almost a year. He asks Sypha to tell Trevor the rest of the prophecy of the sleeping soldier, and Sypha, blushing, says the soldier will join forces with a vampire hunter and a scholar, which explains why her grandfather tried so hard to make Trevor stay in the city, short of actually telling him the truth. Leaving to Trevor grumbling, I hate speakers. Once again, he is a badass, but he's also an asshole. Agreeing that Dracula needs to be stopped in honor of his mother's wishes, Alucard joins forces with Trevor and Sypha, and the three of them leave the catacombs together to confront Dracula, ending the first season and leading into the first episode of Season 2, which we'll talk about soon. So, that's the episode. It is action-packed, it is crazy, you get lots of gore, you get some satisfying deaths, you get one very unsatisfying death, and you finally get the three together for the very first time. Trevor, Sypha, and Alucard. Whereas Grant is beyond me. But this is an incredible season finale that I really cannot do justice, and nor can this synopsis ever do justice. You need to see this episode for yourself. Plain and simple, it's badass as fuck. So, here is my final synopsis. Let's check it out together. Forgive my language, but holy shit. Trevor ordering the mob against the monsters is awesome. Sypha revealing her powers is awesome. The deaths of the last corrupt priests who started this whole thing are both unsatisfactory and satisfactory at the same time. Make of that what you will. And Trevor versus Alucard is fucking badass as hell. In other words, it's a fantastic finale, and I'm hyped for Season 2. Yes, I'm sorry, I had to throw the pun in there. Deal with it. Final verdict for the Season 1 finale of Castlevania is an easy 11 out of 10. Yes, the bishop death is still a little bit disappointing because it's off-screen, but very minor nitpick. The rest of this episode's so amazing and badass that it doesn't matter. Awesome, kick-ass episode. Highly recommend it. Honestly, I highly recommend this whole season. Final verdict for the overall season, it started out just really good, and then it got really fucking great in the final 2 episodes. So because of that, it kind of splits it down the middle, and I'm going to give it a... I'll give it an 8. 8 out of 10 for Season 1 overall. Because it may have a slow start, but when you get to the final 2 episodes, it cranks that fucking gas pedal hard. So, yep, that's it for Season 1 of Castlevania, and that's the final review of today. Now, if you excuse me, I need to go give my throat a break. Unfortunately, I cannot review Joker 2 or VHS Beyond today, because unfortunately, they are not readily available to me, because for whatever reason, my subscriptions just aren't working. So, I might be back here tomorrow with those reviews, or it might be on Monday, I don't know. But cheer up, I have a cool little surprise cooking up for you today that I think you guys will really enjoy. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and until Season 2 of Castlevania, have a fantastic day, my spooky ghouls.